The moment I announced my pregnancy, my sister-in-law tried to serve me shrimp, knowing full well I'm violently allergic. 5 minutes later, her own husband collapsed after taking my plate. What happened next shook everyone and changed our family forever. I'm 30 now, married to Jordan for almost 8 years. Everything about our relationship has been solid, except his sister, Shannon. She's like a walking cloud of vinegar. The first time I met her, I actually liked her. She was witty, stylish, always laughing. But that version of her was like a trailer for a movie that never got made. Turns out, Shannon is venom wrapped in charm. I've spent years trying to stay on her good side. Smiling at backhanded compliments. Laughing off passive-aggressive jabs. Being friendly, even when she wasn't. But it's never enough. Jordan once dated Shannon's best friend when he was 17, and even though they broke up ages ago, she's always tried to orchestrate who he should end up with. When he met me, Shannon made it clear I wasn't what she had in mind. She'd randomly bring up his exes in front of me, how great they were doing, how Jordan should reconnect. It was like watching someone try to rewind a movie that no one else wanted to see. Jordan thought it was weird too, and asked her to stop. That only made her worse. Shannon would accidentally invite Jordan's exes to dinners hosted by his parents. She doesn't follow me on social media but is always the first to watch my Instagram stories. If a guy commented on my photos, she'd run to Jordan claiming I was posting provocative pictures. We actually laughed at her desperation, but deep down, it hurt. When Jordan and I got engaged, Shannon went dead silent at the dinner where we announced it. Then she stormed out, later sobbing on the phone to Jordan, furious that she wasn't told first. A day later, I got a DM from her that read more like a territorial threat than a congratulatory message. "I've always been the only woman in his life," she wrote. That was the first time I genuinely felt scared of her. I left the message on read. I couldn't do it anymore. Every interaction after that just got colder. But weirdly, she insisted on being involved in our wedding planning, crashing bridal appointments, criticizing everything from floral choices to tablecloths. The final straw came when she mocked me in front of my future mother-in-law, calling my taste cheap, and saying Jordan should marry someone better. I snapped. Right there in the boutique, I told her she was no longer invited to the wedding. She stood there like she just witnessed a crime, totally stunned. Jordan backed me up completely. Even his parents took my side. For once, I felt like I had backup. She apologized, sort of. Sent a long message about keeping peace for the family. I didn't respond. She still showed up at the wedding. Wore a black floor-length dress with a veil, like she was attending a funeral. Told people she was mourning the loss of her brother to another woman. I swear I've never seen someone ruin a party so passively. My father-in-law had to ask her to leave. Years went by, and I kept her at arm's length. After I gave birth to our son, Noah, I made it clear she wasn't allowed near him. I didn't trust her. Jordan's parents respected that. Shannon had gone through a miscarriage a year prior, and though it was heartbreaking, it didn't justify the way she acted. Eventually, we let her spend some time with Noah under supervision. She was oddly sweet with him, at first. But slowly, the mask slipped again. She'd complain endlessly about how life was unfair. Blame her managers, ex-friends, and even Jordan and me for making her feel left behind. I never once heard her take accountability for anything. She'd drop comments like, "Must be nice having everything go your way," while staring directly at me. When she announced her own engagement to Drew, we weren't even invited. No explanation, no heads up. When Jordan asked why, she said she was afraid I'd ruin her wedding by pulling something dramatic. Her logic? Since she wore black to ours, she assumed I'd try to get revenge. The irony would have been funny if it weren't so petty. Jordan was furious. He talked to his parents, and they agreed they wouldn't attend or pay for her wedding. Shannon exploded, calling me manipulative, and accusing me of turning her family against her. Later, she tried to make nice. She even apologized again. And somehow I let it go. We attended her wedding. Everything seemed okay for a while. Until last month. At Jordan's birthday party, surrounded by friends and family, we finally shared the news. We were expecting our second baby. Everyone was thrilled, except Shannon. She smiled too hard, talked too loud, then brought me a plate of food, personally, saying she wanted to make peace. There was shrimp on the plate. I'm severely allergic. I pushed it aside. Before I could say anything, her husband picked it up, joking that he'd eat it instead. 5 minutes later, he collapsed. When Drew hit the floor, it was like the world stopped spinning. He clutched his throat, eyes bulging, the color draining from his face. At first, I thought he was choking. Guests froze mid-bite. Shannon shrieked. Jordan and I leapt from our chairs as Drew collapsed against the edge of the picnic table, knocking over 2 glasses and a floral centerpiece. Everyone rushed toward him. Jordan knelt beside his brother-in-law, trying to prop him up, while I just stood there, motionless, holding my breath like it might stop time. Then Jordan's mom. I sat outside with Jordan's parents, hands folded over my stomach, feeling like I was balancing a bomb on my lap. None of us spoke. Not for a long time. Just the soft beeping of the hospital machines from down the hall, and the occasional hiss of the coffee machine next to the nurse's station. 10 minutes later, the yelling started. Shannon was accusing Drew, her own husband, of betrayal. Of ruining everything. Of letting this get out of hand. Marge and Fred exchanged a horrified glance, and Jordan clenched his fists. She doesn't even care he almost died, he muttered. And then we heard it. Crystal clear through the cheap door. She gave you my plate? Then she poisoned you, not me. I was just trying to make peace. Silence. Then Drew's voice, flat and cold. Don't spin this, Shannon. I know you. Later that night, when we reviewed the backyard footage for the detectives, it sealed everything. There was Shannon, walking straight to me with the plate. No hesitation. No mistake. No mix-up. They'd tested the food. The poison wasn't in the shrimp, it was in the sauce drizzled over just one plate. Mine. The police took the footage. And the moment they did, Shannon's carefully crafted version of events began to crumble. She was brought in for questioning the next day. She confessed. She actually confessed. According to the detective assigned to the case, who called Jordan personally, Shannon didn't even try to deny it. She cried. She begged. She spun a story about hormones and rage and feeling forgotten. Said she just wanted me to get sick enough to go to the hospital. She wanted to shake me, not kill me. That was her excuse. She didn't mean to hurt Drew. That part, she said, wasn't supposed to happen. When we told Drew, he didn't flinch. Just sat there quietly, holding a foam cup of water, his fingers trembling slightly. He was still recovering physically, but emotionally, I could see it all over his face. This wasn't just betrayal. It was horror. Like he was just realizing he'd married a woman capable of murder and malice, and smiled beside her every day. Marge sobbed when she heard the full story. Fred looked like someone had unplugged his entire nervous system. And Jordan? Jordan stared at the wall for a full hour. She's my sister, he finally said. But she's never going near my wife or kids again. The police told us that Shannon would be released on bail, pending formal charges, but Drew made it clear he was pressing charges. All of them. Jordan backed him. And to my surprise, so did Marge and Fred. No one offered to bail her out. No one made excuses this time. The entire family just turned away. And then Shannon did what she always does when she's backed into a corner. She tried to spin the narrative. She called me, yes, called me, 2 days after her release. I was going to announce my pregnancy that day. She sniffled into the voicemail. And you stole it from me. I just wanted one moment. Just one. I didn't respond. I didn't even let Jordan hear it. Because here's the thing, she was right. She was going to announce her pregnancy. That's what she told the judge 3 weeks later during her arraignment. That we had robbed her of her big reveal. That she was hormonal and emotional, and didn't know what she was doing. That she just wanted to ruin my moment the way I ruined hers. Except that moment nearly killed her husband. And might have killed me. And our unborn daughter. She begged for sympathy. The judge was silent. The prosecutor wasn't. And the charges were filed: aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, food tampering, attempted poisoning. The reality hit us hard. And yet, through all of this, Jordan and I kept moving forward. We bought blackout curtains to help us sleep. We locked every door and double-checked every meal. Our son Noah knew something was wrong, but he just kept asking when Auntie Shannon was coming back. We didn't answer. I had my first ultrasound a week later. The baby was healthy. Heartbeat strong. And yet, as I lay on the cold table with gel on my stomach and Jordan squeezing my hand, I felt this wave of guilt crash through me. Because the plate was meant for me. But Drew ate it. The day of Shannon's hearing, I couldn't decide if I wanted to scream or throw up. I wasn't required to be there, but I went. Jordan asked me twice if I was sure. My belly had begun to round out, and the idea of walking into a courthouse knowing my child had almost died from someone's hate, it felt like a dare to my own sanity. But I needed to see her. I needed to look into the eyes of the woman who nearly ended my life and still had the nerve to play the victim. And I needed her to see me. The courtroom was stark. The air smelled like recycled fear and printer ink. Shannon sat between two public defenders, dressed in muted gray like she'd raided a clearance rack at a funeral home. No makeup. No theatrics. Just puffy eyes and the faintest smirk, like she thought she was still in control. But then the evidence came out. The footage. The forensic report on the poisoned sauce, laced with a compound not sold over the counter. And finally, the text messages. The DMs she sent me before the party. One in particular stopped the courtroom cold. She wrote, "You've always taken everything. My brother. My family. My place. You won't win again. Not this time." I swear even the judge looked stunned. Shannon's lawyer tried spinning it as hormonal outbursts and emotional instability caused by high-risk pregnancy and past trauma. They even mentioned her miscarriage from 2 years ago as context for her mental fragility. But then the prosecution dropped the final bombshell. Shannon had ordered rat poison. In small amounts. Over time. Delivered to a P.O. box in a neighboring town under a false name. The same chemical compound was found in the sauce she drizzled over my food. And Shannon confessed, again, but this time under oath. She said she didn't intend to kill me. She just wanted to make me sick enough to ruin the day. That she wanted me to go to the hospital, me to be the one in tears. Because, she said, I stole her moment. That birthday party was supposed to be hers. She'd been planning to announce her pregnancy then. She'd even prepared cards for everyone, cute little envelopes with ultrasound prints inside. But when Jordan and I announced our pregnancy first, she couldn't handle it. She felt, her words, robbed of joy again. So she planned revenge. Quiet, slow, and irreversible. What she didn't plan on was Drew switching plates. Or the hospital's toxicology report. Or the surveillance footage. Or the sheer, dead silence that followed her testimony. No one in the courtroom moved. Not even Marge or Fred. I turned to look at my in-laws, and for the first time, I saw real grief, not the kind you cry over, but the kind that makes you sit very still and wonder where you went wrong as a parent. After the hearing, I stepped into the hallway and found Jordan crying, not loud or messy, just sitting on a bench with his head in his hands. "I always knew she hated you," he whispered. "But I didn't think she could be this." Neither did I. That night, Drew filed for divorce. The next morning, Shannon tried to call us collect from jail. Jordan declined the call. So did her parents. No one replied to the letter she sent us, handwritten in blocky, dramatic strokes like a high school confessional. She begged us to forgive her for the misunderstanding. She said she was still pregnant. And she said, "Please, for the baby, don't let them lock me up." But it was too late. Her bond was revoked after she violated the terms of her release, trying to contact witnesses. The DA pushed for maximum charges, and Drew, quiet, kind Drew, refused to budge. "She needs to pay," he told us, staring blankly at the tea his nurse had brought him. "She nearly killed you. And our kid never even had a chance." That part broke me. Because in the chaos of everything, I had forgotten, Shannon was pregnant, too. She said she never meant to harm her own baby. Just mine. As if that made it better. Shannon was found guilty on all counts. Attempted poisoning. Food tampering. Assault with intent to harm. Endangering the welfare of a child. Her sentencing came 8 months after the hearing, and though I didn't go to court that day, on doctor's advice, I remember how Jordan came home with the paperwork in one hand and tears on his face. "She's gone," he said. "They gave her 6 years. 6 years in a state correctional facility. No bail. No appeals. No second chances." Shannon's entire mask shattered in front of that judge, we later heard. Her pregnancy hormones, her moment, her jealousy. The court didn't care. She had tried to poison a pregnant woman, her brother's wife. And that woman's husband, her own, was the one who nearly died. Even then, in her final plea for leniency, she tried to twist it. "I didn't mean for it to go that far," she cried. "I just wanted her to hurt like I've been hurting." But the judge answered with the coldest thing I've ever heard. "Intentions don't nullify consequences. You gambled with a life. That life just wasn't yours." We never saw her again. She gave birth while in custody. A baby girl. The state transferred the child into temporary foster care while Shannon awaited sentencing. But before that decision was finalized, something none of us expected happened. Drew petitioned for custody. I don't know what changed in him. Maybe guilt. Maybe grief. Maybe just the raw need to protect what was innocent in all of this. But Drew showed up to every hearing, filled out every form, passed every evaluation. He said the baby was the only good thing left from that marriage, and he wouldn't let Shannon poison her daughter's future the way she tried to poison mine. He won. It took time. But he won. That baby girl, Ava, is now 2 years old. And she's thriving. Drew brings her to our house on weekends sometimes, and I'll be honest, the first few visits, I flinched every time I saw her face. She looks so much like Shannon. But she laughs like Drew. She smiles at Noah like he's the best thing on earth. And slowly, that fear began to lift. Jordan calls her our second niece. He never says Shannon's name. As for me, I gave birth to a beautiful, healthy daughter just weeks after Shannon's conviction. We named her Elsie. And holding her for the first time, knowing how close I came to never doing that, changed something in me. I had spent so long looking over my shoulder, so long doubting my instincts. That moment reminded me, I survived. We survived. But the trauma lingers in small ways. I don't eat food I didn't prepare. I get nervous around large gatherings. I still double-check locks before bed. And when Jordan's phone buzzes in the middle of the night, I tense up before I even know who's calling. I started therapy. So did Jordan. We're working through it. Together. Stronger. Marge and Fred visit often. They've aged. You can see it in their eyes, in the way they speak about how things used to be. They still love their daughter. But they haven't seen her since the sentencing. Marge says it's the first time she's ever known what true heartbreak feels like. Noah knows something happened. We told him when he turned 8, not every detail, but enough for him to understand why Aunt Shannon isn't around. He asked one question that made me cry. Did she ever love me? I couldn't answer. But Jordan did. She thought she did. But love doesn't hurt people. Real love protects. It's been 2 years. 2 full years since that birthday party turned into a crime scene. Drew is dating again. quietly. Gently. He says he's not ready for a big commitment, but Ava's smile gives him a reason to believe in the future again. And me? I look at my daughter, at both my children, and I hold them a little tighter. I thank the universe that I'm here. That they're here. That we're whole. Shannon's name is never spoken in our home anymore. But her actions reshaped everything. And now, as I rock my daughter to sleep, I think, sometimes, the people who claim to love us the most are the ones who quietly set the fire and hand us the matches. But we didn't burn. We built something better.